We're live again, I think. Let's just check my channel, make sure we are. Cool, yeah, we're live, bro.
Yeah, we good?
We're good, we're back,
Right.
We're live.
Sorry about that, guys. Bit of technical difficulties there on my side.
Hey, that's what happens when you provide live content, so.
That's what I mean. You've got to adapt and get over it. But I forgot what I was talking about. But I'm pretty sure I was moving on to this topic here.
We were.
Because we finished the ETFs, we spoke about that now. And this is quite big, actually.
Yeah.
And again, this kind of came up today because China, for those of you who don't know, kind of banned crypto not so long ago towards the top when Bitcoin was topping up over a year ago now. They came out and banned it, and now they're coming out again. Well, China, obviously, well, you know a bit more about this because you've been in the space a bit longer than myself, but they're always in and out. If it's legal, illegal.
Yeah, actually,
like up to something. I don't know what they're up to this time, but they've declared it to be a virtual asset protected by the Chinese law this time.
Yeah, so this is so weird. Like, I genuinely think throughout my time in crypto, we've seen 10 bans and unbans by the Chinese government. Actually, let me be consistent with that. We haven't seen unbans. We've just seen 10 bans. Like ban, and then a reiterated ban, and then a reiterated ban, then a reiterated ban. And the last one we saw was like a huge ban where even miners had to move out the country. Everyone's like, oh yes, over for Bitcoin, etc. in China. And out of absolutely nowhere today, like I've not seen any articles leading up to this, like at all. Nothing about trials, nothing about anything. Out of nowhere, Shanghai People's Court has declared Bitcoin to be a virtual asset protected by Chinese law. So how is that possible when it's already banned? And there's been nothing talking about it. So it's why I always say, just like, be careful when you listen to any sort of FUD, especially when it comes from China.
This is what I mean. It's confusing to like people like us. What are we led to believe? When we read an article like China ban Bitcoin, they tell everyone to move, all the miners to move out. For us, we're going to believe them and think that it's over. But if they can just come out and flip the switch to us and say, okay, now it's protected by the Chinese law, it's like they're up to something, and I don't quite know what they're up to with that. It's almost as if it's a convenient time how they've come out and said it's now protected by law once after we've experienced all these massive drops in price. So
yeah, I know, and like
the timing's a bit sus there, I think, in my opinion. I'm not trying to say anything, but I just think it's a bit suspect. Like, I don't know what their motive is about it, but regardless of the motive, it's good to have them back on board with Bitcoin because they're a massive market, and whether you like that they ban it and come back in as and when they want, it's good to have them back in.
Yeah,
especially now.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what happens. Like, see what happens next week. Next week. No, let's see what happens because obviously now if it's protected by law, you would hope that at least they've got some framework in for Bitcoin. You obviously know that they are leading in terms of CBDCs with the digital yuan. So they've probably got easy on and off ramps if they do allow exchanges to trade Bitcoin, because I presume that's still illegal. I would have thought. I don't know. So we don't know the depths of this, but I just wanted to bring it to you. This is like literally breaking news. When's this come out? 2:06 today, like 3 hours ago. So there's been no time for us to research that properly.
Yeah, we'll see where that goes. But like you said, next week they could just come out with something completely different. So I'll just kind of take that with a little bit of pinch of salt and see what news comes out on the back of that, because I'm sure there'll be some news coming out on the back of that. But
this is a big one. This is a big one.
This is a big one. This is actually kind of messed up what this is anyway. But I'll let you explain. You're a bit more clued up on this one. But
so basically, Coinbase, and I don't think this will happen. By the way, let me just say first, I don't think Coinbase will go bankrupt. I'm pretty sure their balance sheet is like 14 billion or something like that along those lines of assets. So let me just say I don't think they're going to go bankrupt first. But that's just my thought. Secondly, is in Q1 of this year, they lost $450 million. They made a loss of $450 million in Q1. Following that news, they updated their terms and conditions to state that anyone who held their crypto within Coinbase would technically be a creditor if the company went bankrupt, meaning that they would then be able to liquidate your assets in order to pay off their bankruptcy debts if you're holding your assets on Coinbase. So never been a more like a better moment for me to say, which I do iterate quite a lot: get your crypto off exchanges. Anything that's important to you in terms of value, get it in a hardware wallet. Software, if you've not got much capital, I'm not gonna promote it. I'll say fine, like a trust wallet, all right. But best wallets out there, in my opinion, that I use are Ledgers. Like you can get a Ledger S or a Ledger X, or Trezors. I personally have an affiliate link to Ledgers if you want to use it in my bios. But if not, always go to the Ledger website, order them from there. Order them from there, so you know they're not been tampered with. And like it'll cost you like $50 for like a Ledger X. I think I've got or S or two S's or X. I don't know. I always get them mixed up. The cheap ones, $50. They're easy to set up, and as the phrase goes, not your keys, not your crypto. So we've got Ledgers, haven't we? How many? You got two Ledgers, haven't you?
I've got two.
I've got
And
two.
now you got two. Yeah, it's like I said, it's not like they're saying they're going to go bankrupt. I think they're just saying it again just to cover themselves. But it's not just Coinbase who'll probably have this in their terms. I'm guessing will Binance have something similar to that?
I presume so.
I presume they will be, whether they're not being as public about it. But I'm pretty sure that's how it will work with. Like, don't take this for word, but they'll have some sort of similar framework in it. But again, like Will said, it's just another reason for him to kind of promote, get your stuff in a hard wallet, because if it's on your Coinbase account,
it's not yours.
Liable.
Yeah,
it literally isn't yours. So I keep all my stuff on mine, and Will keeps all of his stuff on his. So
exactly. I actually have some in my Binance right now, but I've literally just got open buy orders in USDC on XRP if it hits certain prices. So but I even feel like a bit bad about having that on there, bro. I don't even want it. I don't even want that sitting there in an open order.
Especially now with what's going on, it kind of makes you a bit more on edge. But I'm not saying panic and get all your stuff off this instant, but I'm just saying keep it in your mind, and I'd start moving like your big. But if you got like a lot of money sitting on a exchange, I'd 100% get it off.
Yeah, for sure.
If you got a little bit you're just playing around with, like you're trading here and there, then fair enough. Like the risk of them going bankrupt, like Will said, is quite slim. But just start getting your bags off there, in my opinion, as well.
But
it's just
basically you just don't want to take that chance with like a big chunky savings.
No, like that's what I mean. Imagine if you had like, I don't know, like 20 grand sitting on there, and that's a lot of money for you, and something bad happens within Coinbase and they go bankrupt and they just it's gone. Like there's nothing you can do about it. Whether you try and argue as much as you can, they've made it public now that is the process. So
yeah, and I just want to iterate just before we go on to the last few things, and we're going to talk about UST now, stable coins a little bit, and then a little look on the market. But guys, if you've got any questions, get them in the chat, and we're going to get to them at the end for a bit of a live Q&A. So we just wanted to do it live today because obviously loads going on. So let's go.
Get your questions in, guys, because I guess everything else we're about to speak about now.
It's about the market today, isn't
it? It's about the same thing really, because we've got the two stories here about the stable coins USDT and UST, which will link us into just the market in general. Because as you can read here, we've had a crazy. Let's
go UST first, and then come on to USDT.
Okay, yeah, because that happened first. So it all kind of started with UST, which is Terra's stable coin, and obviously it had a massive effect on Luna as well as the price, which you'll see the charts. And if you're into crypto, you know about the story, and you probably know what price it's at the moment. But basically, the UST stable coin started depegging from the dollar quite violently, and it's currently sitting at a ridiculous price. I think it was at like 50 cents earlier, so it's just completely miles off the depeg. It's in the air now. People have lost faith in stable coins. It's affected the crypto market. It's just for me, it's that catalyst which has just kind of sent the whole market down, because it was in such a pivotal position anyway. Like we've been screaming about for the past few weeks. It just needed some catalyst like this, negative catalyst like this, to shoot the price down, and that's it. This is what's kind of given it. That's my take on this whole week. Anyway, like obviously there are other reasons for it. You can talk about technical analysis and all that kind of stuff, but I think this was kind of like the catalyst which kind of thought, bang.
Yeah, and look, there's like macros all over the place, like the whole market in general, like worldwide stock market, currency markets, everything's in turmoil, and then you've got like a big thing like this, like showing a huge crack in the crypto space. I think UST had like a market cap of 14 billion, maybe more. It was in the top 10 crypto assets for sure. So it's a massive amount of capital to just basically disappear. And when I was just tweeting that we were going live again on our second part, I'm pretty sure Blockworks put a tweet out to say that Luna's network is no longer live.
Oh,
I'm not sure, but I just thought I read a headline like.
Doesn't surprise me because
it went down from $120 to, I think the last time I checked it was 0.02, so not even 2 cents, like a fifth of a cent.
they're pretty much dead. Like, and what's his Twitter name again?
Do
Kwong,
Kwon,
whatever.
yeah, stable
So
coin.
he's obviously the founder of the ecosystem. I think he said he kind of came up with a bit of a solution that I read earlier on Twitter, that they were going to burn X amount of UST and they were going to stake X amount of Luna to try and fix it. But I don't know. I don't know what he can do to fix this. If you want to, I don't think it's fixable in my opinion. Anyway, I think it's
Yeah,
too far gone.
it
And
could be
what's done
done
is
now.
done now.
It's flipping harsh on anyone that holds Luna. Like, you've lost ridiculous amounts of money.
Yeah,
It's why some stable rules. It's not, and it's not probably what you want to hear right now. But for the future, I'd always say, and I always do, reiterate that just be careful on new cryptos. Anything that doesn't have time in the market, I always stay away from personally. Maybe it means I miss out on big gains. Definitely have this cycle. I even spotted some decent projects like early on. Like I saw Quant early on. I saw Solana averagely early on. Matic I saw pretty early on, but I didn't get involved in any of them. So I missed like hundreds of X run up, not even hundreds of percent. But then I haven't been caught on a drop like this. And yes, I've obviously been caught with the rest of the market on a drop, but not on a capitulative disappearing
that's what I
crypto
mean.
asset drop.
It is risky, but you obviously lose out on the gains people, benefit from Luna. But then a lot of the same people who benefited from those gains who didn't take profit got stung because it's literally worth nothing now. So, but just quickly, because again, like he tweeted out, I think when it's earlier on in the week when it was all kind of quite fresh in terms of what happened.
Mm.
So he, as in Terra themselves, moved 150 million UST, I think,
Mm.
from that where they ever keep their reserves to something else. Again, I've made a TikTok about it, but then minutes later, unknown wallet dumped 84 million UST, which kind of started the depegging
Yeah,
of the stable coin. Which again, now it's just this throwing up a big conspiracy theory in this guy, whether if someone was behind this, or someone trying to like tarnish the reputation of stablecoins. Not that they had a good reputation in the first place, because you've got all these big people screaming for regulation on them, and rightly
mm.
so, as we can kind of see here. Was it done on purpose? And it kind of brings us on to this as well, because it's kind of happening to Tether, which is a more established stablecoin USDT. Today it went down to like 0.96. I'm not too sure which level it hit, but
Yeah.
even that's not even fully pegged back to the dollar, I don't think. We'll have a
No,
check in a second.
I
But
think, like, in my opinion on both of these stories, so the UST is completely different to Tether. So obviously,
yeah,
Tether has its own issues in terms of people speculate that. So let me just say what they both are first. So UST is an algorithmically backed stablecoin. As you were talking about, they were trying to create a forced liquidity pool, and the timing where they started to do that, someone dumped UST at the time when it was most it was most illiquid. So they basically had the time into a T and had
exactly.
hell a lot of money, and were able to create that sort of crack. And then once the peg had started to appear, then people arbitraged the price action and created it, like just multiplied it by itself. So the difference between that and like Tether is that Tether is specifically a asset-backed stablecoin, meaning that they should hold an asset worth, well, it should be technically $1, or an asset worth the amount of $1 per every Tether that they mint. The issue and in the market with Tether specifically is that no one's ever seen their reserves, and so who knows whether they've got $1 for every Tether. They have been audited and they've said that their reserves are worth what the amount of Tether on the market is, but no one's ever confirmed whether they're actually dollars. We have the thing with Tether is, although it is at 96 cent, which obviously is a discrepancy, a lot of people have been like USDC is actually up like 2 cents. So it's people who've just traded a lot of Tether into USDC because they think USDC is more stable. USDC has better institutional partnerships, insurance, like Jeremy Allaire from Circle is their CEO, or I think he works from Square as well. But every time we have FUD in the market, we see something with Tether. So the last time we had a dip was when we had China banning Bitcoin. Then China had their Evergrande issue, and everyone said that Tether was backed by like some of Tether's backing was like options on Evergrande and Chinese property market options. So that was the last time. The time before that was when we had our May sort of crash in the year of 2021, and the FUD on Tether then was there was a lawsuit that came out from the state of New York onto Tether saying they weren't audited properly for a lot, like a big amount of fiat value. I can't remember how much, but it settled for like less than 1% of what the lawsuit was. So these things come out a lot with Tether, and it's not obviously the first time. In other run, for the whole time I've ever been in crypto, there's been Tether FUD. When the market goes down, there's Tether FUD, and maybe at some point it's going to be an absolute nuke that's going to blow the market up, because it's an $80 billion market cap, like third or fourth biggest crypto. So if it does do something mad, the market is going to explode. But like, I don't think we're there yet, and although there's a lot of FUD about it, it's easy to jump on the hype and the speculation right now, and we've been here before, but it doesn't mean it won't happen. I'm just saying, definitely take this. But yeah, that's about it. What do you think on that, Pat?
Yeah, like, even since I've been in the space, so I've heard all sorts of stories come up. I don't think my voice is lagging here a bit, but like I said, even since I've been in the space, I've heard a lot of FUD about. Are they?
Yeah, you are lagging. You are here, but you are lagging a bit.
I'm still in. Okay, but yeah, that's like I said. I've had a lot of FUD about Tether, whether it does go off, is thing. But would you say like this whole palaver with these stable coins is shouting out for a bit of regulation now? Would you say that regulators need to get involved with these sooner rather than later?
Yeah, I think that we saw, obviously, Janet Yellen talked the next day, who's head of the Treasury in the US. She brought it up the next day so Tuesday she brought it up, and we had the initial de-pegging on Monday night. And how often is it that regulators even talk about crypto? So I think they've got their eye on it, but then they've come out today and said that it's not systemically important, meaning that it doesn't directly affect the American economy, so it's not top of their priorities. But what it will do is it's going to give people like Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler, they must be like rubbing their hands together when they're seeing stories like this, because they're going to be trying to do everything they can to get some control over the market. So I don't know, like, it's a bit of a weird one.
This is what I mean.
We've got a
it just brings up, like, I hate being that guy who's just always has to go on. Bring the question in.
No, you're lagging a bit, so it's hard. This is. I've got a question in the chat that says, "Do we believe BlackRock had nothing to do with UST and Luna's crash?" I don't know. Is the answer to that, Andrew? I really don't know the answer. Like, they've obviously denied it. Whether they did or didn't have anything to do with it, I'm completely unsure. It's hard when someone with a big amount of capital had to have affected this market. Let's just put it that way. But whether it was Citadel and BlackRock, I don't know. Is it in their best interest to crash the market? I also don't know that either. There's definitely positives and negatives to both sides of that argument, to be completely honest. So I'm just unsure. What do you think to that, Pav? I think you're back now.
Yeah, well, I was just about to say anyway before you put that question up. I hate being that guy who always has to resort to conspiracy theories, but for me, it's just the whole thing is just set up perfectly that someone like that has got involved, whether it's Citadel or BlackRock, whoever it is, to almost bring the issues that crypto has in the spotlight. So it scares a lot of people at the market, this tarnishes the price or whatever. So it kind of screams out for regulators, so people like Gary Gensler can get involved and just make us thankful for them to get involved. But like me and you were speaking about, this is the perfect opportunity now for them to get involved, help bring the crypto market back to a stable place, and then people like us are going to be like, okay, fair enough, they've actually helped us. So then they'll kind of get us on their side. Again, that's just one big conspiracy theory. Whether that's true, who actually knows what's going on? Like we say week in, week out, we don't know what's going on in anything. So we can only speculate, but I don't think that's too far away. I don't think that's a ridiculous thing to say anyway.
No, I don't either. There's definitely someone's doing something. I think there's got to be coordinated, at least by someone with a lot of capital. Maybe, I don't want to say China because I feel like I'm just pointing at them. But with what's happening in China, that with new laws for crypto, why would it not? It makes sense. I don't know. But you are a bit laggy again, so I don't know.
It's just like I was saying earlier.
Can you hear me?
Should we move on to the charts?
Yeah, because I can't really see you very well. You're frozen. Yeah. Yeah. If you open them, let's just talk about what's going on. And you can talk, but it's just your camera's not there.
let's talk about. Oh, okay. So again, we'll just quickly. This is the market
Okay.
at the moment. These just sent up today, and XRP is 4.5% down, which is a bit annoying. But let me go to Tether. Okay, 0.94. So that's quite a lot. I mean, if you look at Tether spot, it has tripped down in the past. I think it was like last May. It had an episode where it kind of spiked down for a bit, but nothing like this. Again, just kind of begs the question: is whether someone did it to UST? Are they doing it to? Are they trying to break down the biggest one? Again, to kind of exploit the issue once more. Again, we don't know. Let me see. Is that Luna's price? Yeah, look at that. You know, that is just the biggest red candle ever. Look at where it went down to 0.003. This is something that was at $113, $14.
This is mad. It's madness, to be honest.
It's crazy. What is actually happening? And I can't believe this week. Honestly, it's been absolutely nuts. I'll go onto the Bitcoin chart here. This is on a daily.
That's some big volume. Look at that. Oh, I think we're losing power.
Today. This. So I'm surprised about how much buying volume we've seen though on these 2 days. Almost caught up with that there, but today we've had a lot of volume. Well, it's just hard to tell what's going to happen.
Really hard.
Going forward. Personally, again, I don't want to. It's hard to say we're going to go down to this price because we could go down low. I think this week's taught us anything can happen, and don't be surprised if we actually do go down and touch these low 20s. Whether we do or not is another question. But regardless, I personally think we're going to be trading within this sort of range anyway for a while now. I think.
Yeah, I think I'd like to add something to that.
Unless anything big comes out, I just don't see us moving.
Yeah, sorry. Obviously, guys, we're having a bit of a connection issue here. I don't really know what's going on. But basically, I'd like to add something to that, and that is that once we broke down below that yearly support, I would have expected some sell orders to have been triggered, and then maybe some bidding wars between the buyers and sellers, either cascading down in price or shooting back up after grabbing liquidity from below. That yearly stop section, which would probably be, what was it, 29,000 or whatever it was, 29,800-ish, was our previous support, like year-long support. Once we dropped through that level, I would have thought, or 28,800, sorry, and I would have thought that we would have seen big volume as stop losses got closed, sell orders came in, the closing positions. And as I said, we either bump back up in price or we just cascade lower. But we kind of stayed at the same price, and there wasn't even a bidding war. There wasn't people trying to sell, and there wasn't people trying to buy. So it just kind of stayed there. Like, as you can see, the volume today has been higher than it was yesterday. So it's just a bit of a strange day to break a year-long support and not see any kind of increased volume. So I'd like to leave on that note, I guess. I think, because we're having connection issues, I'm just going to keep talking because I don't even know if Pav can hear me. I can't really see him. But we'll just...
I can hear you, just bad.
Okay, so we'll just finish with this, guys, and that's going to be that. Thank you for tuning in to the weekly roundup. Stay safe out there. My personal non-financial advice would be, the way I'm playing the market is to have some certain buy orders if you've got cash on the side. Stick to your plan of buying no matter what the narrative is, and don't invest anything you can't afford to lose. And I'm pretty sure Pav will reiterate that. If you want to follow us on social media, Pav's social media is at @fitness_crypto. He's on TikTok at the minute, and obviously I'm Crypto Insight UK. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in to this week's episode. I'm sorry that it's been a bit all over the place because obviously connection issues. I think I've had them, and also as has Pav.
Yeah.
So we'll speak to you next week. Thank you for tuning in to episode 5 of the weekly roundup. Peace out.